Yeah, the topic is the future of networks. You know, we are talking at the moment about 5G, but we're also heading towards 6G, we heard today. And I'd like to start the conversation for sure on 5G first. And here, Jochen, the 5G deployments are at full speed. What can the consumers expecting from this in the next days, years from 5G?
Very good question. Right, 5G is already there. I think when you switch on your mobile, you see the 5G icon already in your mobile today. But is this really the 5G that we are talking about here at this conference? I think it's not. So for sure it's on the end customer device visible. But what we talked about here is how can we enable, how can we really deliver the promise of 5G SA? And looking forward, there's much more to do than just bringing this as a mobile data connection. So network slicing is one part we discussed this morning. We also touched today in one of the presentations Open RAN. So I think also Open RAN will play a key role here. We as Telefónica, we have been one of the first operators implementing this, implementing it in south of Germany. But right now the technology is not yet mature. So I think it will take some time until it really comes to the end customer. We have seen great presentations for private 5G network. Maybe that's the first area we see it's really taking up.
Okay, then let me just follow up with this question on Open RAN. What role Open RAN has now or can have in the future?
Yeah, so Open RAN as a technology, it's there. It's not that mature that it's really capable to serve nationwide deployments like for countries in Germany. We as Telefónica, we see it as a very useful and needed extension of local coverage solutions, or as I said before, for private networks, for private solutions, campus solutions. There the technology is there. So I think looking forward, Open RAN is really an exciting technology, and I'm really glad to see that all the big players open up for this kind of discussion, and the ecosystem is shaping up for that. So I think the next years will be interesting for Open RAN.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, 5G, and we have seen today in one of the presentations that 5G is becoming more and more mature. You talked about the beauty of 5G. Is the full beauty of 5G what we see at the moment, or can we expect something else?
So I hope that we can expect much more than we see today. Today, the 5G deployments are still driven by the data, by the look for more data, and we also see from the industry, latency is getting one of the drivers. But in my opinion, 5G is not just a switch-on technology. You need to have the ecosystem, and the right ecosystem being in place to see the full beauty. We heard so many presentations today talking about industry use cases, the possibilities that are getting opened by 5G that have not been opened by any other technology before. But in order to do so, you also have to have the right ecosystem in place, giving you access to data, for example, giving you real-time access to data, having the security of the data in place. And then we can see the full beauty of 5G.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Yeah, coming to Enrique. Nelly, is 5G already data as its best? We see capabilities. Is there anything in addition to expect, especially also on the greener end?
Also, at its best, I will say so far, only so far. Why is that? Let's recap a little bit. We talk about all connected. What about devices, people connected, machine connected? So we move from Internet of Things, of Internet of Everything. And how do we handle that? Do we handle cloud, also edge computing? But the really interesting part comes, how do you process all this data with AI? And in to which solutions? Then you get the real game changers when you talk about metaverse, digital twins, AR, auto-driven automotive, and all of this on real time. This is something that is going to change. But when we talk about data as its best, I will say only so far, because when we say always that's unbreakable, we break it. When we say we are at the edge, we find the next level. So I think we are going to find a lot of use cases. We are going to use the data as today was impossible to think about, but there are going to come 6G, Then we are going to talk about quantum computing. So we have enormous thing here that we can use, but it's going to be always better. Regarding the second question, sustainability, of course, if the moment we put together all these things that I already mentioned, we have smart sites, we have smart operations, we have also automatic valid parking. We are going to be able to switch off all the other Gs, other technologies. So at the end, we are going to be able to gain sustainability if we do it the right way. But of course, we need to find the right process and the right efficiency process.
Thank you, Enrique. Anita, NGMN is working on 6G, as you have presented here. Has the work on 5G been finished, or?
Not at all. So first of all, we heard today already many interesting presentations about the first successes, but also about the topics which are still due to be delivered. And also standardization still needs to be finalized. 5G Advanced is on the horizon. We as an organization, we also continue to support actually 5G through different projects. For instance, improving TDD uplink, so requirements to improve the TDD uplink. But also it's important to continue to measure the performance. We have developments like disaggregation, not only open radio access networks, but also the disaggregation in the core network, cloudification. So there is a lot to do, and not only from a technology perspective, also with regards to operating networks. And last but not least, you heard that one of our major topics is also sustainability, and we need to continue also earlier than we move to the standardization of 6G to continue to work on improving energy efficiency and other topics contributing to an improved sustainability of our industry, and of course also enabling other industries. I mean, one topic is the so-called Scope 4. In the language of sustainability experts, enabling other industries. And at the end of the day, and I think that should be already applied to 5G, and it's complex, but I think we also need to assess use cases and services with regards to their net contribution to a carbon footprint, so including the enablement of other industries when it comes to that.
You more or less covered my next question. The next question would be for sure, if you're sitting in front of a CEO of an operator or a CTO of an operator, what are the major differentiators when it comes to 6G? When they now should start on thinking about 6G, what are the main differentiators? But you more or less covered this with maybe this green part. Is there anything you would like to address to CEO or CTO? Why they should maybe contribute in this initiative? To think
well, first of all, my answer when you ask me why should someone contribute to the initiatives is it's the opportunity to shape the industry and also the opportunity to include your own requirements to the next generation and maybe also earlier than to the next generation. It's important that we learn from 5G. It's also important that, for instance, when it comes to standardization, and there will be some form of standardization also happening, of course, for 6G, that we take a more holistic approach, so not only isolated radio access network and core network. We need to think about, I think that's now the tricky part, because there are different opinions in the industry if 6G will be revolutionary or evolutionary. And coming back to my first statement, I think it's extremely important to be there to shape the industry and also to include your requirements, being from an operator point of view, from a vendor point of view, from a research point of view. Naturally, each of the value chain partners have often different opinions, and I think that makes it extremely interesting how to consolidate those opinions for the benefits of the entire ecosystem and the end users.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Jochen, what could 6G bring for consumers or maybe for the industry, to the people using this technology?
When thinking about 6G, and it's quite far at the horizon from an operator's point of view at the moment, I think one of the biggest advantages for the consumer or for the customers will be definitely more speed, more bandwidth, and also lower latency. We will use higher frequency spectrum, which brings by nature an improvement on these characteristics. But listening to what we have heard before on 6G, I think there are more aspects in than just what it's bringing for the end customer in terms of touchable, tangible KPIs. The sustainability aspect, it's, I think, quite an important one. And also we as Telefónica have a goal to be neutral by 2025, so quite ambitious goals. So you see also in our company values, sustainability is one integral part. But in order to achieve that, I think we need to make our homework first, and which is delivering 5G. And we have heard there's a debate in the industry if 5G to 6G will be a leapfrog or if it's an evolutionary path. I think it builds on top of each other. And only if we are able to solve the challenges and really deliver the 5G promises, we will be able then to benefit from 6G. So therefore, from an end customer perspective, it's quite far on the horizon for us thinking here in this expert forum. I think it's the right point in time to start thinking what will be the benefit, not just for the customer, but for the entire ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Enrique, the aspiration of the company is a lot of things doing around digitalization, digital transformation. What do you see with 6G coming with digital transformation and maybe the industry solutions? Is there anything to fit with the aspiration?
So let me answer in that way. I don't want any of the telco operators to be saying, I'm going to wait till 6G till I start my transformation process. So I think, first of all, the digital transformation can be performed a lot only by 5G. And I think it's a real game changer. And of course, if we look at 6G technology, at the moment you have 100 times more speed, the moment you can control many devices at the same time, more than 5G, that helps, that brings. Regarding the digital transformation, where I think it's going to change, probably in digital twins, holographic, and metaverse. Because these are the technologies where do you have a massive consumption of data. In the moment you say, all right, I want high quality, I want to see virtual almost a real life, and at that point, you really need 6G in comparison of 5G. But I have also to say, the game changer here is 5G. The change from 5G to 6G is only enormous, only that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. How about the sustainability? I'm just looking to Anita. She made a comment. Is there anything you see in that path?
Yeah, regarding sustainability, let me put an example. You see in Docomo how things can change, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not on purpose, but these kinds of technologies allows us to get this kind of sustainability. For example, in Docomo, they had a huge problem because they didn't find agents that wouldn't want to climb the towers. And they said, all right, it's well paid, we have the people, but the people didn't want that kind of work. So they defined some processes, they used drones, and with these drones, they could do the work in order to check the towers, to see if there is some problems, some issue, so quality, preventive, whatever. It came because they had the need to do it, but as a result, they got a process that were much sustainability than the original one, and it was only possible thanks to this technology. And with 6G, what we are going to get, the moment you have, for example, digital twins, real digital twins with high quality that you can perceive is almost the real world, but you can play very easily. You can make in weeks some things that you, in a natural world, you need months or years. It's going to be save a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, and this kind of sustainability is the things that are going to help. Not only in telco operators, because telco operators here are the driven company to help other companies to be also more sustainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And now I'm talking to you as an expert, We talked about sustainability, consumer benefits. how far we are with the, or where we are with the technical implementation, because I know Rohde Schwarz as an authority in protocols and standards, where we are at the moment with 6G.
Yeah, this is really a very valid question, because we heard so many things about 5G, and we know that the 5G development will continue for the next years. And the good thing is, if we speak about development, a new technology is always a chance to take in the learnings from the previous technology. But you have to gain that learnings as well. And of course, we know the standardization bodies, and Anita, I fully agree about participating in the alliances, because this is really the chance to bring in the learnings we have from the previous technologies to make a new technology better, make it easier to use, make the benefits available also to the end users. So for the 3GPP standardization, they work quite some years already on the 6G. If you ask the industries, and I think you answered about that, are today any use cases for 6G? Probably not, but they will come. And in order to bring in the learnings and to develop the new technology, of course, we have to prepare for that. You mentioned Rohde Schwarz as a test and measurement company. When you need test and measurement equipment, we need to have it ready, so we cannot start at that point. And we have also to understand and see what could be potential problems our users with their use cases would run into where they need measurement equipment. How would the network testing derive in a 6G environment? Speaking very concrete, of course, we have started with development on 6G. We do not have the focus on 6G. The focus is still on 5G on our side. But we have started with the development on 6G, bringing in higher bandwidth, larger frequency areas, even reduced latency, concrete activities on the D-band in the terahertz frequency range, because this also has an effect on the components that we need, and it has an effect on the complete measurement setup. So we have to understand what are the topics coming in with there. We have solutions, we have also shown them, and working very close with universities, with research institutes in order to have a joint learning on what could be potential use cases, what could be the problems, how is the technology developing. Other topics that we look into more AI will develop further. There are joint communication and sensing that will bring additional use cases, maybe requiring completely new test equipment. So, short answer, yes, of course, we have started to work on, but our customers, don't worry, we will not give up the 5G. This is driven equally with the higher importance on our side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And I'm sure that when there's someone being able to interpret 6G, then it will be Rohde Schwarz first.
Thank you for your trust.
Yeah. Yeah, coming to another connecting question, when we have 6G, the amount of data will increase. When we see we have seen today some choreography from TikTok where 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G was compared. We're expecting a lot of data increase in 6G network internally and externally. Are we ready to handle this data?
Yeah, very valid question as well, because if you look from the technology development from 2G over 3G over LTE, the data has also always been the driving factor, and it was increasing the number of data rates, and it will still increase if we look at 6G. On the other hand, having such amounts of data, I think today we are not having a data storage problem or a capacity problem. But one topic I see where we definitely need to have a focus is when we talk about very sensitive data or data from a critical infrastructure, is really being able to handle securely the data. So having the security of the data ensured over the complete end-to-end process that we are offering. And another topic for the data is having the full ecosystem in place, having real-time access to the data in order to use the data in an appropriate way. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, thank you. Maybe a question to all of you. When it comes to networks, then security is always a concern. The question is 6G the solution for security, or is it more challenging? What is your opinion? Maybe all of you. Maybe a quick answer. Is there anything you would expect from 6G to be solved, or
Also, I think it's going to solve a lot of problems, but we are going to realize there are new problems that we have to be solved. Also, regarding security, cybersecurity, I think we will be always talking about this topic. It's not a topic you can forget about. Why is that? Because we have software. We can have some firewalls, we can have some black boxes complicated to enter in, but at the end, they will always be backdoors in order to get inside, and you have to take care. Because it's not a problem that you find, that you have a methodology in order to say, all right, if I follow all this methodology, it's right that I'm not going to have security problems. No, there's always surprises, there are always new doors, and for sure, 6G it's going to solve a lot of problems, but we have to take care about it because there are going to come additional problems.
I mean, security and trust will be an important part of the requirements, and I think it's too early at this stage to state if 6G will solve security or how it will exactly look like. I think going forward, if you think about quantum computing and alike, and also the learnings we had from 5G, it is going forward one extremely important part, but not only security, also the trust factor when it comes to connectivity and networks.
Maybe to add on this one, and the answer is maybe a 5.5G answer. When we talk about security, and we talked a lot about how do we need to transform, so it's not just delivering 5G as a technology or 6G as a technology. We are talking about automation, we are talking about using cloud deployments to gain flexibility. I think all those aspects also needs to be accounted in, and they will play an even bigger role in 6G when we hopefully have unlocked the thing of really delivering the premises of 5G. And therefore, I think the security challenges in 6G will be different ones than we have today. Nonetheless, there will be new ones, as we also heard before. And the new ones comes from new business models, new operating models, new ways of how we really deploy, how we manage the technology. And these are the things we will just learn over time. So 6G as a technology will not just introduce additional security measures or additional threats. It's more the things, how we manage it around, that requires our attention, and then to start early in advance defining the solutions for that. And again, as I said in the morning, talking to the ecosystem, and that means not just the industry, but it's also the authority side in order to see how can we shape it, how can we define it.
I fully agree to what you're saying. For me, the security is not the firewall or the device security or the network security, it's really the end-to-end security. This is what we have to guarantee. And the more devices are getting connected, and 6G will be an enabler for that, to connect more devices. And by the use cases that are enabled by 6G, I'm convinced we are also seeing impacts on the security requirements that we have to adapt. But also, 5G is a good preparation for that and will give us a good learning in order to understand what is coming here.
Thank you for security power here at this stage. I was, to be honest, not expecting this. Coming to the vendor landscape, we have at the moment a few vendors in the market delivering infrastructure. When we now look to, we have seen now some early developments in 5G. What do you see with 6G coming? Is there a direction now completely disruptive? Is it something more being careful? What would be your idea? What you see at the moment? I think Jochen is.
Maybe let me start and then to build on top of. When looking into the vendor landscape, and let me not just start with 5G, let me start with 2G. I think the portfolio of suppliers, partners in the market has been much broader than we have it right now. We see there's a trend in changing that. So it was much more in the past, and it was reduced to quite some key players for the core network solutions, at least over the past years. Since 1 or 2 years, we see a trend that it's getting more and more diverse again, which is a good one. And And looking forward, I think one of the biggest challenges, and that will answer your question, and how do I see it developing in 5G and in 6G, I think the solution partners we will have, we will see, will massively increase. Because we are not just serving for one purpose, a consumer network or a certain business service for our customers. I had one of the side talks, or maybe I mentioned it in the podcast. We as Telefónica believe that in the near future, we have to manage maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, and in the long future, 100 different kind of core networks. And that's one of the reasons why we also push for automation. Why? Because customers look for a more tailored solution, for more customer-specific solutions, and you're not able to serve them only with just one partner, and therefore this diversity is key. And I think all the move in cloud automation, this will help in order to give new partners the chance to enter the market, and this is what we're seeing already.
Mm-hmm.
Also from infrastructure perspective, if we talk very clear case regarding O-RAN, we are going to have a huge landscape there. Not many so strong if we talk about 5G, classic 5G. But I totally agree. At the end, you are going to have a lot of players, a lot of vendors that they have. They make the best product, they make the best software in one piece of the process. Then you have to put all this together. And there are already many alliances that you can see. All right, here have you a lot of players putting all together in order to make easier the way that they can work together. But it's going to be a challenge for everybody, because if you want to put all the value from everywhere, they have to be able to play together. If not, you are not going to get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then thank you. Maybe the last question to all of you. You have the industry sitting in front of you. Is there any final message you would have to the industry regarding this topic, for sure?
So please support us in making 5G a trustworthy technology. We talked a lot about security. You mentioned you have a security community here. But also, in my opinion, it's important to give the people the trust to also handle the sensitive data over a technology like 5G. And this is essential also for new technologies like 6G. Without that trust, it would be difficult. And we all have to work together and really understand what are the challenges in order to secure such kind of data.
Thank you.
Don't be afraid to the failure, to be able to be disruptive, to be innovative, to try to change the things, to open the mind. I think we have the opportunity now to come back, to be proud again, to belong to the telco sector, where at the moment we are going to be the key driver for all the rest industries, not only being a passive player, bringing telecommunications, but also being active, bringing solutions. And for that, we need to be disruptive, determined, be sure that we want to achieve a goal, and don't be afraid of failure.
Thank you, Enrique.
Maybe a very short comment on this one. Let's put into action what we talked about today. It's about discussing together, aligning together ecosystem. So that's the very short version.
Mm.
Once we have done this, I think it will solve a lot of topics.
Thank you.
Now, to add, of course, representing an alliance, a global alliance, I think there are many opportunities and many challenges in front of us today and looking forward. And there is a lot which can be solved much more efficiently by collaborating in the pre-competitive area. And we strongly believe that also today, if we look at disaggregated networks and looking also into sustainability topics and 6G, we need industry collaboration and cross-industry collaboration to also learn from other industries and to also be able to better enable other industries. And last but absolutely not least, I think that we have an obligation to contribute not only to environmental sustainability, we also need to contribute to other sustainability goals when it comes to also connecting the unconnected, looking forward to 6G. That means that we also need to provide affordable services and novel services to the globe. So that would be my closing statement if you ask me for a closing statement.
Thank you, Anita. Yeah, we're now coming to the end. Thank you very much, Anita, and for your time, Enrique, also Jochen. Thank you for sharing your thoughts here. Thank you, Dirk, for the opportunity for me to moderate this session. It was a pleasure, and it was a pleasure in front of you. Thank you.